Hi, have you ever wondered where and how different types of music originated? Well, today we will focus on one type of music born in New Orleans, blending the city's different varieties of music to create this genre. It's a style of music that was unique in comparison to the other music of its era, such as ragtime. This genre quickly became popular among both black and white populations. Have you guessed what type of music I'm talking about yet? I'm talking about jazz. African Americans gained their sense of pride and achievement with this new form of music because of jazz. Jazz originated from the music genre called Dixieland, known for its collective improvisation. Collective improvisation is when several musicians spontaneously create new melodies over a period of continuously repeated chords. Dixieland music became very popular in 1917 after the original Dixieland Jazz Band sold 1 million records. Next, let's talk about the issue about ethnicity. People formed groups based on their similar cultures and traditions. In the 1920s, ethnicity was not a problem for black people in New Orleans because nobody thought it was important in the jazz industry. Both white and black people just wanted to party, get drunk, and enjoy life. This is where black people took their chance to start creating their own type of music. Black musicians started spreading jazz throughout the United States by playing jazz in different public places, such as nightclubs, concerts, and etc. The Cotton Club, located in New York, was Harlem's most exclusive night spot around the 1920s. It was opened by white gangsta Oni Madden to sell illegal beer to white customers despite the 18th Amendment. The amendment banned the manufacture, sale, and transportation of alcoholic beverages in the USA. The Cotton Club's entertainers were black, and the band began to play sophisticated, recognizable African American sounds. Groups of jazz musicians, such as Duke Ellington's orchestra, played at the Cotton Club. Other well-known jazz singers played at the Cotton Club, such as Louis Armstrong, Ivy Anderson, and Ethel Waters. They were considered jazz musicians because of their use of different types of improvisation, regular and forceful rhythms, and deliberately changing the pitch and tone of their songs. The Cotton Club was such a popular club in New York at the time, so jazz music spread quickly far and wide. Now, we shall have a minute intermission for some jazz music. Now our next topic is how African American jazz musicians made jazz influential through its unique and trendy style. It's Friday, Friday. Just kidding. Anyway, jazz also had a great influence on many artists and writers and was even incorporated into some films created today, like some of the songs in Disney movies. Jazz music was known for its ad-lib, variants, and how it contained unique characteristics that differed from the other music in the 20th century. This genre of music not only influenced different forms of art, such as the visual arts and music industry, but also the way the younger generation behaved. Younger generations of women began to smoke cigarettes in public, wore clothes that were deemed as inappropriate and risky, and had no shame in being judged by society. The women were influenced by the 19th Amendment on women's suffrage. Women's suffrage was a right for women to vote and run for electoral office. Jazz provided further motivation for women to step out of their traditional sex role designed by society. In addition, just like how jazz derived from Dixieland, some music genres such as hip-hop, rock, and pop were created and derived from jazz. The birth of jazz led to more freedom of expression, since jazz inspired motivation to its audience and other musicians. This led to different musicians experimenting with music to create variations of jazz, such as bebop and a variety of other types of music. Jazz was greatly involved with the development of hip-hop. Hip-hop artists joined with jazz artists to make songs that were well known when hip-hop was just introduced. Rock and pop were produced in a similar way. Jazz is the initial ingredient to all of these music genres mentioned. Saxophonists such as Miles Dewey Davis III and J.J. Johnson gained a lot of respect and popularity around the world because they created new ways to write and perform jazz, which changed jazz forever. Miles Dewey Davis III was a musician, composer, arranger, bandleader, producer, and the symbol of being cool for about 6 decades. Miles used jazz to develop hard bop and to create a new music style that combined jazz, rock, and funk. Another style of music is bebop, which is a fast-tempo style of jazz created in the 1940s. The first bebop trombonist was J.J. Johnson. Beside J.J. Johnson's accomplishments, various black jazz musicians formed bands to further contribute to jazz music, such as Duke Ellington and Stan Kenton. Ellington's band emphasized on the idea of individuality rather than unity among the instruments, while Kenton, as the band leader, wanted a concert orchestra rather than a dance band, which was very popular at the time. Single black musicians like Louis Armstrong helped evolve the concept of solo musicians with their attractive new styles. Although jazz was popular, there was still a lot of criticism towards the style of music. A majority of whites and blacks in society became hostile towards jazz because of the trouble it caused, such as dangerous activities, the consumption of liquor, tension between blacks and whites, the injustice black people had to face, and interracial interactions around the 1920s. For example, dance halls were used not only to listen to jazz music and dance, but also allowed people to drink alcohol away from the local law enforcement by the 18th Amendment. By a white officer's perspective, in the Deep South, black people were considered associated with alcohol and crime, so therefore they were more likely to get arrested than white people. This exhibits the injustice that black people bore since white people assumed the blacks as a criminal race. In addition, tensions arose between both the white and black population over who was more involved in jazz music during the Jazz Age. Whites usually were the critics, analyzers, and record companies. African Americans were usually the ones performing. White people believed that they should have more credit for their contributions because black people always stole their spotlight on stage. This led to a fierce battle over race and white dominance. Black people had their chance to be accepted into the whole American society through jazz by gaining popularity, which was denied to them since the time of slavery. For example, did you know that black people were restricted by the Jim Crow laws passed by southern states after slavery and even during the Jazz Age? Now that black pride was rising, black people were destroying all the racial, social, and psychological barriers that hindered black achievements. At the end of this battle, African Americans were gaining respect and recognition through jazz and by other methods, such as the famous Montgomery bus boycott. So, do you now truly understand the power of music? Well, specifically jazz? Is the music produced today still able to create a revolution in the near future?